Hi, Schlockmeister fans. We're going to be watching 1978 fantasy film Warlords of Atlantis, starring Doug McClure. Let's check it out. This is the Texas Rose, and on board, a little submarine made in 1896.
I suppose you're right. Americans tend to be natural skeptics, and certainly we couldn't afford any risks.
And that's Doug McClure on the left. He plays Greg. He and Charles are going down in the submersible.
No. Gregory, I'm sure the two of us will justify my father's trust and investment. And why are you swearing?
And down they go into the ocean depths. The submersible has a little bottom that's empty there that doesn't have a wall, so they can actually touch the water if they want to. Just don't tip the thing on its side. Unfortunately, if you have a hole in the bottom of your sub, that means things can come in too. It's a plesiosaur or something like that, and they electrocute it and knock it out.
That's not what you think it is, Gregory.
And then they find something of importance.
But there's one thing for sure, that's no tadpole out there. Professor!
Can we get to the board?
The crew is a little suspicious to what they're doing down there. There's Cliff from Cheers. The crew's a little money hungry too.
It is not to be regarded as treasure. Finding that statue is a...
Well, that crew also feels that they're underpaid. Now they raise that thing and bring it aboard. And shoot the professor.
What do you want? What are you doing here?
But then something else attacks the ship. Our sub manages to surface somewhere. That giant octopus attacked the ship and everybody had to jump off. But where are they?
Sandy. Are they over?
Holy St. Hilda, where are we?
There's 2 people left on the ship and the other 6 are down here.
What's happened to us?
Travelers! My name is Admir. Welcome.
The Atlantic Ocean.
Will not find it on any map, but you know its name.
Atlantis. Oh, come on, Charlie. That's a legend. No. Not just the sunken ruins of a city, but a living civilization.
They encounter giant sea creatures on their way to this city, but the city is also inhabited by what appears to be slave labor.
No, you mustn't.
This is Delphine.
Thank you.
What's wrong? Get a gentleman off to help a lady in a place like this?
You're a newcomer.
Guardian.
You must do no more than you have to, otherwise...
She is the bosomy eye candy of the film.
The reason to get all riled up.
A big fight ensues.
Well, 20 years, that's why.
They're imprisoned along with everybody else.
Captain Briggs of the Mary Celeste.
The Mary Celeste? Holy St. Mass.
So it was a giant octopus that did it for you, too.
Wife, child, crew. Defend fire and end up like the rest of the outer limits.
You've seen the creatures there. Fire is our only hope of survival.
Well, why have we been brought here?
To replace losses, casualties. Some of you will become workers, others guards.
In addition to the Atlantis people who aren't all that friendly, they have to deal with big creatures, monsters. Delphine's father is killed in this attack. They want Charles to join them because he's extremely bright.
What is to be, but how to achieve it. This power is yours. What they asking?
He gives him this weird hat which lets him see the future.
Energy will take us back to the stars, where we belong.
Apparently the Atlantis people come from outer space. Our heroes escape.
Come on, Charlie, we're going home. Oh, you fool! Do you realize what you've done? I realize what I've done, but you don't. Come on, we're getting out of here.
And the others?
Destroy them.
Delphine is helping them escape the city.
Let's take them. Go for the kill.
They attack these guards that have actual guns. Now the good guys are going to have guns. Not all of them escape. And here they get attacked by wild predatory jumping fish.
How in the hell did they get here ahead of us?
They must have used the underground canals.
If you give yourself up, Batkin, the others can go.
Delphine's not going with them, though.
Take me back to Var. Life will go on.
They managed to get to their submersible sub. But eventually they surface back in the Atlantic.
You were worried, were you? Right then. There she is.
Now remember, the bad guys are still bad guys.
They tried to kill the professor.
The old man. Is he all right?
Doug and Charles never knew.
Badly wounded, so down in the cabin.
And apparently the captain's a bad guy too.
Come on! He's arguing for himself.
Brilliant. You mean you're with us?
But they're not out of the woods yet because that giant octopus comes back for more. A fight ensues. Texas Rose is going down. No treasure, no nothing. The good guys on the boat, and the bad guys kicking.
I was better off down below.
Alright, let's talk about Warlords of Atlantis. This movie has some significance history with me. In the spring of 1992, I had 1,300 movies that I had on my list, movies that I had taped, between beta movies and movies on EP speed on VHS. But it was in the spring of 92, I think March 1st, I decided to start taping movies on SP because my Schlockmeister brother Jeff started doing that about a month or two earlier, and I thought, that's a good idea. So anyway, this particular movie was the very first new movie that I taped. I was trying to retape all of my old movies on SP speed tapes too, but this was the first new movie I actually taped. So this is movie number 1301 in my collection, Warlords of Atlantis. I was really excited at the time because I knew the movie wasn't available on VHS, and it was showing on cable, Cinemax or something, so it was cool to tape it and have that in my collection. And nothing much has changed. I think it was released on VHS overseas, and today it's not released on DVD in this country. But it is a DVD on PAL DVD in the UK, which is where this thing comes from. I don't know why it's not available in the US, but it's not. So anyway, I picked this up not too long ago, and now I'm watching it. So anyway, I have not seen this movie since the spring of '92, so it's been a long time. I didn't remember a damn thing about it. But anyway, it's kind of a fantasy film. It's got effects kind of like Ray Harryhausen kind of stuff. But anyway, Doug McClure, the movie takes place like in 1896. Doug McClure is on board this ship, and he's got this submersible sub that they're going underwater to search for lost treasure. I don't know if they're looking for pieces of Atlantis. I think they are. Instead, they actually find the city itself, and there's actually inhabitants living there. They end up getting attacked by this giant octopus, or up above does, and then anyway, everybody ends up in the city of Atlantis. Turns out Atlantis is filled with people who are from outer space, and they are just kind of living down there now, trying to find a way to get back. Then they're not the friendliest of people. There's a lot of slave labor going on down there, and eventually our guys end up getting into a fight and getting thrown in jail, where they're told they're going to be replacements to people who have died. They're either going to be slave labor or guards or whatever. So they don't like that idea. So they enlist the help of this woman named Delphine, who's played by Leah Brody. I mentioned she is the bosomy sidekick here. She helps them escape after her father dies. She has no reason to stay around anymore, and they manage to get to their sub again, battling sea monsters, flying fish monsters, and of course the warlords of Atlantis, the bad guys and the guards who are trying to stop them. And then at the very end, she just says, "I can't go any further. You guys go." I didn't quite understand that, why she couldn't go any further, but whatever. She left them. They all escaped in the submarine and got back to the surface. Now, once they got to the surface, the bad guys who were trying to mutiny the ship turn bad again. But then they get attacked by this giant octopus who attacks the ship, takes their treasure, and basically sinks the ship. Our good guys escape in a life raft, and the bad guys are kind of left holding on to the raft, or the boat, I should say, and kicking. And I guess maybe they found freedom at some point, or found land, who knows. But anyway, that's how our movie ends. So anyway, it's a cheesy film for sure, but it's actually pretty entertaining. The actors and actresses did a pretty good job. Like I said, you may have noticed Cliff, John Ratzenberger from Cheers. He was also in the movie Empire Strikes Back, by the way, in a very small role. He had one speaking line, too. But anyway, so that's it. It's Warlords of Atlantis, starring Doug McClure. Kind of a science fiction-y, fantasy, dinosaur-type film. The bad guy, Atmir, who was kind of the leader of Atlantis, you might remember him as the bad guy in the movie For Your Eyes Only. Michael Gothard, I think, was his name. He played Locke in that movie a couple years after this came out. So anyway, Warlords of Atlantis. Let me know what you think about it. If you've seen this movie, leave some comments down below. We'll talk about it. Check it out. Watch it. Bye.